What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hoopers Lounge with myself and Max. A lot of NBA news has broken since our last episode, with some major trade news leading the way. I'm willing to say, years of rumors, of debates, of trying to figure out where Giannis is going to go, it has now been officially confirmed that Milwaukee is looking for trade suitors for their greatest player in their franchise's history. As a Bucks fan, it does suck to see Giannis's time come to an end. Giannis is the player who made me fall in love with the game of basketball, so it's going to be a bit of bittersweetness seeing him in another jersey for me. But the Bucks were not contending anytime soon. They are right now complete poverty. Giannis needs to get out while he's still in his prime and can still help a team win. There are four teams that were linked to Giannis in the trade rumors, with those teams being the Knicks, the Heat, the Timberwolves, and the Warriors. So for years, when NBA fans have been talking about dream duo pairings in the NBA, Curry and Giannis have been among the top answers, and that's been my personal answer the last couple of years. Those are the two superstars I would like to see paired the most. I think they would pair the best together. So because of that, I would like to see Giannis go to the Warriors. You, as a Warriors fan, I'm sure would like to see him go there too. So to make it a little more interesting, besides the Warriors, what of those three teams do you think Giannis would fit the best with? Or maybe there's a fourth team that isn't even among that you think Giannis would fit best that wasn't even mentioned. But besides the Warriors, besides Curry, which of those teams do you think Giannis would be best fitted with?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Obviously, I want him in Golden State, and I wrote down, in my opinion, the teams that I think will get him kind of in order. So I think the Warriors are the favorites just because they're the most desperate. But to answer your question, I think the next best fit or the next best chance of getting Giannis would be the Knicks. And I think that because they have the players to trade. While the Warriors have the picks, the Knicks have the talent to trade. I think Cat would definitely be a name that would be in return for Giannis, possibly even some of their younger bench pieces, like a Tyler Kolek, perhaps. A Jordan Clarkson could definitely, I know he's not young, but he could definitely be moved as well. Maybe a McBride could be headed to Milwaukee, like somebody like that with Cat and some picks for Giannis. So I think the Knicks just have the most overall assets to get him. And I also think Giannis would fit really well in New York. I think a player of his caliber and his personality deserves a bigger market than Milwaukee. And I think him in the Garden, that crowd would love to watch Giannis, and he would thrive, I think, in that environment. So obviously, I agree. I think the Warriors are the favorites just because they are desperate to make a move like this. I've heard that they are giving up picks for the next half decade. Like, it's just an insane amount of picks to get Giannis. I've also heard that Steph is the only untouchable on the roster. So I think the Knicks have a few more untouchables than the Warriors, which is another reason why I think the Warriors are, have a better chance to get him. But those two teams, I think, are a significantly bigger basketball market than Miami or Minnesota. And so for those reasons, I think the Knicks would get the nod there. As for a different team out of those four, I haven't really thought about it. But I was watching, like I told you before we recorded, the Pistons game, the Pistons Warriors last night, and they were talking about the Pistons making a move at the trade deadline. I don't know how they would acquire Giannis, and I don't know how that would look. But if Detroit is aggressive at the deadline and they could somehow keep Cade, Asar, and Duran and package like Tobias Harris, Duncan Robinson, and like picks or something like that to get Giannis, I mean, that would be insane too. So I definitely don't think that's going to happen. I think they are going to go for maybe a smaller trade here because of how good they've been so far and how young they are. But that's probably the team to keep an eye out for Giannis if it weren't one of the four that you mentioned.
Yeah, like we said, the Warriors, I think they are the favorite too. That is where I like to see Giannis end the most. So that is an obvious answer. So just to take away from the obvious answer and make it a little harder. The Knicks, I like the fit that Giannis has with the Knicks in terms of the team that got better offensively but worse defensively under Mike Brown. I think Giannis would help fix those issues great. But I do not think the Knicks have any assets needed to trade for Giannis. The Bucks, in their return for Giannis, are going to be looking only for future assets. The Bucks, if they trade Giannis, they know damn well they will not win anytime soon. They are entering a full-scale, full-blown rebuild. Karl Anthony Towns is not going to help this team lose games. Karl Anthony Towns is not going to help this team get higher draft picks. Karl Anthony Towns is not going to help this team get more future draft picks. He still has positive trade value, and it's just going to take away from the future assets that Milwaukee could land. In addition to that, the Knicks traded all their first-round picks already for Mikal Bridges. They don't have any future picks to trade. They have some young players like Tyler Kolek, Deuce McBride that are intriguing. But me personally, I'm not Nico Harrison. I'm not trading Giannis for Tyler Kolek. That's not happening. I don't think the Knicks have the assets in this place. Like you said, the Warriors are prepared to offer their next half decade's worth of picks. That is the kind of package the Bucks are going to be looking for, and rightfully so for a player of Giannis's caliber. The Knicks, I do not see how they could make a move. I don't think they have the required assets. The Pistons are an interesting team because they are the team on the rise in the East. But this isn't a knock on Giannis at all. This is my favorite player of all time. I do not think he would be a good fit, at least this year, with the Pistons. We see young teams on the rise in the NBA oftentimes make the mistake of rushing their rebuild and trading for a superstar. We saw it this offseason with the Rockets trading for Kevin Durant. Maybe they're not a worse team, but according to the regular season record, they took a step back last year after acquiring one of the greatest scorers of all time. Acquiring a superstar stunts the development and the growth of your young players who are trying to blossom into All-NBA, All-Star level players. With Giannis on the Pistons roster, Cade Cunningham is not an MVP candidate. Jalen Duren is not an All-Star, and that stunts that development. Maybe getting that superstar pushes the needle, but I think for young teams, you want to give them a few years. You want to let the players figure out their roles in the NBA, how they can best, what is the role? Is Cade Cunningham really an MVP level player? Is he best suited as a second option on a championship level team? We don't know that yet. Is Jalen Duren an All NBA level center? Is he best served in a Derek Lively role? We don't know that yet. So there's things we have to figure out with young NBA teams before me personally as a GM, I'll be ready to pull the trigger and trade the next half decade and go all in for a ring. The Pistons, they are on the rise, great team, and I think Giannis would help them out. But I want to see this Pistons core for a couple more years because we saw the Thunder. They didn't make any big trades. They won a ring. The Pistons could do something similar. All their players are improving. All their players are young. They're only going to get better. There's no rush to immediately become contenders.
Interesting. So who do you think, other than the Warriors, then, if you don't think the Knicks or Pistons, who do you think has the second best chance to land him then?
Yeah, aside from the Warriors, obviously. That's my pick, both on preference and likelihood. But how about the Minnesota Timberwolves? I think they do have more assets than the Knicks. I don't think they have as much picks as the Warriors, so because of that, like I said, Warriors favorite. But I think the duo of Anthony Edwards and Giannis would be elite on both sides of the court. It would be. We haven't not seen Anthony Edwards play alongside a superstar yet, and yet we've already seen him in 2 Western Conference Finals. So, it's a bit different than the argument I made with the Pistons. Yes, Ant is young, but the rest of the core of the Timberwolves are older. Gobert is in his 30s. Mike Conley, Naz Reid. These aren't guys on their rookie scale contracts. These are guys that are already on their second or third contracts in the NBA. So this is a team that, unlike the Pistons, I think needs to make that move, needs to get that superstar to pair alongside Ant to win now. And I think the pairing of Ant and Giannis would do disgusting things on the court, at least on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, spacing might be an issue, especially while they figure out how to play Giannis and Gobert together. I don't know how that would work. That might be a little messy. But defensively, that would be a hell of a roster.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you in thinking that the Timberwolves are more desperate than the Pistons to make a move. I definitely agree with that take. Just because they've been to the conference finals and they haven't been able to get over the hump against, better competition. So I do agree with that. And Detroit, I don't think they're really in the market for a big trade, but if they were, I actually do think he'd be a good fit. They lack shooting, Detroit, so I think that would also hurt them. But they would dominate every single team they played against in the paint with the combination of Duren and Giannis. Like you wouldn't be able to get a single rebound against those two. You would not be getting any rebounds against those two. So I think that's an interesting team, kind of a dark horse team to keep an eye on for the Giannis sweepstakes.
The dark horses are the one to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, Cleveland got Donovan Mitchell. Milwaukee got Damian Lillard. It's the dark horse ones that have been emerging on top of
Yeah,
trades recently.
if their GM is, has a more aggressive mindset than the two of us and wants to pull that trigger, I do think that Milwaukee would listen to them, and I think the Pistons would immediately be the favorites to win the East. I think they already are the favorites right now, but like they would be clear-cut favorites at this point in time.
I'm not saying Giannis is going to get worse, but if he were to go to the Pistons, or I'm not saying the Pistons would get worse if they were to add Giannis. They would obviously both help each other. I just think this young core needs at least one deep playoff run together before the general manager is able to pinpoint true strengths and weaknesses of the team. Shooting is an obvious one, but what else? There's more the Pistons are going to need to win a ring. And if Giannis's weaknesses are very pronounced. He's a very clear poor shooter. And if the Pistons' weaknesses do not align with Giannis' strengths, I mean, why blow it up? Why trade for a player who might not help your team, might not help the offensive system that the Pistons want to play? I don't know. I think this young team just needs to be patient. I think the Rockets this hindsight's 2020. I was a huge fan of the Durant trade in the offseason, but I think it would have been better if the Rockets were patient. I think the Thunder were patient, and that's why it paid off for them, and the Pistons should follow something similar.
Yeah, I hear you there. Speaking of the Pistons, I'm going to transition now into some takes I have about them. I currently think they are the best team in the league. I know the Thunder have a better record, but the Thunder got off to a blazing start. They've cooled off in the last month or so, and Detroit is one game back of the Thunder. I want people to understand that. They are one game worse than the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay. Yes, the Thunder are one topic. What about our preseason championship prediction, the Nuggets?
I think right now the Pistons are better than the Nuggets. Yes. I know Jokic has been hurt. So give him some time to come back. But yeah, I think the Pistons right now are better than the Nuggets, and I'll tell you why I think that. I watched them play the Warriors last night, and I don't know if this is the Warriors' terrible defense or the Pistons' elite guard play, but every single possession, they get into the paint. And in basketball, that is the easiest way to score because you're either scoring in the paint, you're getting fouled, or you're kicking it out to open three-point shooters. Every single possession, it's either Cade, Asar Thompson, Tobias Harris, Duren, the guys off the bench, Jenkins, who I didn't even hear of before yesterday, just dropped like 15 points on the Warriors off the bench because he literally just got to the paint every possession. And he shot like 8 free throws because he just can get to the paint at will. They're the only team other than maybe the Thunder and the Spurs, because the Spurs have elite guard play. They get to the basket every possession. They don't always shoot. Sometimes they kick it out. Sometimes they draw fouls. Sometimes they lob. Like it's always different. But when you get into the paint with a team with elite guards, they are amazing. And that is why today on January 31st, if I had to vote for MVP, I'd vote for Cade. Right now, I'd vote for Cade Cunningham.
Wow.
I think he's done the most with, I don't want to say nothing, but his second best player is Jalen Duren, who still is not. I mean, we've talked about the lack of depth the East has at center. I mean, Jalen Duren wouldn't be a top 8 center in the West.
He would not be an all-star center in the West. Yeah,
no, he wouldn't. So that's his second best player. I think Asar's great on defense, but his offensive capabilities are clearly flawed. Tobias Harris is getting older. Duncan Robinson is your typical only shoot three-pointers and do nothing else guy. Like, the Pistons are a great team, but Cade Cunningham is doing a lot with, I don't want to say nothing, but like less than these other superstars. Like Luka has LeBron and Austin Reeves, for example. Shea has the defending champions behind him, and all these other superstars. Jokic, I would say Jokic is the other guy that does a lot with, his best player is Jamal Murray, but Jamal Murray's never made an All-Star game. So I would throw Jokic in that category too. Yes, but I would throw Jokic in. Cade is in that category of Jokic, if he's doing a lot with a team around him that's not great on paper. And I really commend him for that. I think Cade, I also have noticed watching him on TV, the leader that he is always happy for his teammates. He's high-fiving them after every possession. He's clapping for them on the bench, standing up. Like, a lot of superstars do not do that type of stuff. If it doesn't benefit them, then, they don't really celebrate it. And I think I really commend Cade for that. I think he's a great leader. He's a great player. And the way the Pistons play basketball, I just think it's going to be hard to beat them in a 7-game series if they're fully healthy, just because of how connected they are as a unit. I don't think anyone in the East can beat them in a 7-game series right now. I think the only team that could maybe contend is Boston, and that's if Jason Tatum comes back. I think that's probably the only chance anyone has to beat them in a 7-game series in the East.
Okay. The Cade Cunningham MVP, I was shook at first, but hearing your argument, it made sense. You know, you won me over there. While you were making the argument, I literally had it in my head. It sounds like Nikola Jokic's MVP arguments when his 3 winning years. So, I mean, you have a point there. And Detroit as the 1 seed in the East, Cade having a career best year, like you said, with very little help, without an active all-star on the Detroit roster right now. Yes, Durham will probably make it, but like you said, he wouldn't be an all-star in the West. He's an all-star in the East because the East is a weaker conference in terms of front court talent. So, yeah, Cade is doing more with less per se. So I completely hear out your argument. You might have won me over there. But the Pistons are not the best team in the East. I cannot hear you out there because the Pistons, okay, like you said, they have a clear strength. They get in the paint in every possession. They have a clear weakness too, shooting. I have watched many Giannis Antetokounmpo playoff runs. And yes, he won a ring. And it was the greatest year of my life. Love to see it. But watching Giannis in the playoffs, I mean, he would always be dominant in the regular season. It's hard to game plan a one-off game around Giannis. But when you're playing the same team for 7 straight games, I mean, especially Miami. Miami specifically was really good at this. They walled Giannis off. They walled off the paint completely. They forced Giannis to find shooters, and the Bucks had good shooters. I mean, but Giannis did not beat Miami, and as a result, the Bucks did not beat Miami. And I'm worried that something similar it will happen with the Pistons this year, who are like notoriously bad shooters, significantly worse than the Bucks shooters surrounding Giannis during Giannis's runs in the playoffs. Yeah, sure. Cade Cunningham and company can get into the post whenever they want, can get into paint whenever they want, and one-off regular season matchups. Can they do it in a 7-game series when you're playing the same team who has plenty of time to defensive game plan for the same team game after game? Right? That's a completely different thing, and that is a big question mark with the Pistons. We have not seen this team in the playoffs. We have not seen them make a run. They had their first appearance. Cade had his first taste last year, and he was great against the Knicks. But the Pistons lost that series. Like, they played them very closely, and they were the underdogs in that series. Great run, but they lost at the end of the day. So I do not know how the Pistons will play playoff basketball. I mean, look at the Cleveland Cavaliers last year. Won 64 regular season teams. They look like an absolute juggernaut in the East. But in the second round, they played the Pacers, a team that matched up with them really well, and they got 4-1. It wasn't even really close. The Pacers won it in 5. The 64-team regular season juggernaut was playoff fodder. They were turnstile. So until I see it from Detroit, I cannot believe it. Yeah, like you said, a team with clear strengths and weaknesses, I think is much easier to game plan for in the playoffs. Than a team like Boston or a team like New York, who I don't think New York's defense maybe is defense, Boston's maybe is injuries. But I wouldn't say either Boston or New York has a clear-cut weakness as Detroit does with shooting. That's my argument for why they're not the best in the East. Maybe they'll finish with the top seed in the East. Maybe they'll finish with the 1 seed. I don't think they're going to win the East. They're going to be exposed in the playoffs. Although they're a young team, it's not really exposed. It's what they're expected to. They're way ahead of expectations now. But yeah, I think a more playoff experienced team is going to expose them, for lack of a better word.
I think. Okay, I have a couple of points based on what you said. I think this year's team is not exceeding expectations. I think last year's Pistons team exceeded expectations. I don't think they were supposed to make the playoffs last year and take the Knicks to 6 games last year. And I think last year's team is very similar to what we're seeing from the Spurs in this year. And I think this year's Pistons is what we'll see from the Spurs next year, if that makes sense. Like a well-oiled machine that's an absolute wagon here in the league. Okay, the difference...
Neither of us picked the Pistons to have home court advantage in the playoffs. Like, The fact that they're
Yeah,
the one seed in the East right now, they are way above expectations. Like they're like none of us thought this was happening.
Yeah, okay, for our expectations, correct, but I think the general public expected the Pistons to be better. I did not, but I think the general public expected them to be better, especially in the East without Jason Tatum this year. I think a lot of people picked them to be a top 4 seed in the East this year. So
Yeah, so that is between being the 4 seed and being the top seed in your conference.
No,
I
that's
think
true.
There's a pretty
That's
big
true.
disparity between that.
That's true, but I also think the difference you mentioned Cleveland last year. Cleveland couldn't play defense last year. They couldn't play defense. The Pistons are the second best defensive team in the league behind the Thunder.
Cleveland could. They had the defensive player of the year last year. They could.
Their guards were two of the worst defenders last year in the league.
Yes, their guards are terrible. But
I'm talking about
defense is
okay. The Pistons played team defense. All 5 of them connectedly play way better than the Cavs did, especially in the playoffs last year. The Pacers were gutting the Cavs last year for 120 points a game in the playoffs. I mean, they were destroying their defense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Agreed. And this is with an elite regular season defense. So yes, the Pistons are elite on defense right now. Can they do it against the playoffs when you're playing the same team 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games? That is a whole different ball game than.
And they did it. They did that last year against the Knicks. I know they lost, but they played great defense last year against the Knicks. A lot of those games were close and low scoring. I mean, they contained Brunson. They frustrated him. Cat did not have a great series last year. I remember the game they lost, Game 6, was on a buzzer beater. They could have won that game and gone back to Game 7. So, I mean, that series was a lot closer than I think people give credit for the Pistons. And I think that is not, it's not a deep playoff run that you want to see from them. And I understand that. But I think that's plenty of playoff experience. That's 6 hard-fought games against a team that made the conference finals last year. Like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good experience, in my opinion. And like you said, they've gotten a lot better. They're well coached. I agree with your shooting argument. That's the one take that I actually did agree with. I think that will hurt them. But the trade deadline hasn't even happened yet. Go get Trey Murphy. Go get Michael Porter Jr. Like, go get a shooter. You don't have to go get Giannis. You can go get somebody else that'll cost way less. I think Detroit is... I just don't know. Like, New York has too many flaws. Boston, you said they don't have any flaws. Their centers, Durant is going to kill their centers in the playoffs. He's going to kill them in pick and roll. They will not be able to guard the Cade Durant pick and roll to save their lives if they play Boston. That will not be a thing. Because whatever center is on the court is just going to get fried by that pick and roll in defense. So I think the Knicks, their weakness has always been depth. I think Mike Brown's done a great job addressing that this year. But come playoff time, are those guys going to perform? We have no clue. Not a one clue. And who knows? I mean, the Knicks could have Giannis, so who knows? But right now, today, I genuinely don't see an argument where the Pistons are not the best team in the Eastern Conference. And I don't see how you can't have confidence in them after what you saw from them in the playoffs last year. They were very competitive against a team that almost made the finals.
Okay, they were competitive, yes. And like defensively, I don't think they're going to have a problem. They play great team defense. I think that's going to carry over to the playoffs. It's offensively, and like you said, a lot of the games last year in the playoff series were low-scoring defensive battles where the winning team didn't exceed 100 points. What's changed this year? Cade's gotten more experience. Durant's taken a big leap, but what else has changed? The Cade Durant pick and roll is going to be great, but Thompson has not taken a leap offensively. Neither has Jaden Ivey. They're both the same kind of players that we have been seeing throughout the course of their careers. When push comes to shove in the playoffs, your best option will be taken away. That at least in the later rounds, that is what's going to happen. The best teams in the NBA will take your best offensive play away. The Cade Durant pick and roll, like Neemias Queta is not a bad center, and he's a very physical center. If there is a center in the East who could have any success with the physicality of Durant, I would put Queta among the top of them. I mean, I think I don't see a world where it's impossible for Boston to defend that, and especially with Mazzulla as coach, like. Yes, they're going to figure out a way in 7 games to stop this Cade Durant pick and roll. It is not going to be the focal point for 7 straight games against the Celtics. I don't see it. I think there's defensive adjustments that are going to be made. And if I'm correct on that, my question is, where does the offense come from after that? Where can the Pistons generate points from after that? Because we saw last year against the Knicks, they couldn't. They played great defensively, but they could not score, and that is what costed them. and I do not think much of that has changed. I think Duran and Cunningham have both taken individual leaps, but that's going to get neutralized in the playoffs. It's a different monster than the regular season.
Okay.
And maybe I'm sitting here wrong. Maybe the Caden Duran pick and roll ball in the playoffs. But like I said, I need to see it to believe it. I need to see the playoff success before I'm willing to say, hey.
Okay. I have something to say, but I just got a notification on my phone about Paul George.
Wow.
Who was just suspended 25 games for
breaking news. Breaking news on the Hoopers Lounge.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I don't know if that's ever happened before, but Paul George has been suspended 25 games for violating the anti-drug program. So,
wow.
Remember last episode or 2 episodes ago when I said the Sixers would be better without Paul George? Well, we're about to find out.
We're about to find out.
We're about to find out. So, interesting. I feel like I should read more about that before I give my thoughts on it. So I'll go back to the Pistons thing. I just wanted to mention that real quick. I agree that
worth mentioning. I'll come back to that once we finish the Pistons.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. That you pointed out Mazzulla's a great coach and he'll figure out something in 7 games. That probably is true. But another thing that I think gets overshadowed maybe in basketball is how a great defense can turn defense into offense. The Pistons are one of the best transition teams in the league. They score a lot off the fast break. And I think with the way they play defense, that is, I don't want to say their main way of offense, but the way that they get up and down the court because they are so much more athletic than you two. That is another source of offense that steals and blocks and stretch passes really lead to fast break points as well. So I don't think it's not a half court offense in Detroit is what I'm trying to say. It's a lot of fast break stuff too that comes from their elite defense.
Yeah, Detroit's been an elite team. I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. I just have not seen, what you're saying is true in regards to the regular season. I'm just not willing to say they're the best of the best until I see it happen in the playoffs too. And I haven't yet. But I do want to move on to this Paul George. We have never broken a story on the Hoopers Lounge. This is a first breaking news mid-episode. But Paul George, like you said, suspended 25 games without pay for violating the NBA's anti-drug program. The Sixers play tonight, and George's suspension will begin tonight. I was just a tweet I read on my phone. I didn't read the information or what banned substance he took. And the suspension from the anti-drug policy used to be more commonplace, but the NBA stopped banning marijuana and drug tests, among other more recreational drugs, in 2020. That's definitely reduced the amount of players we've seen suspended for drugs. Usually when we see a case like this, it's some kind of steroids or PEDs, and usually it's taken on accident. It's not intentionally consumed by the player. The last time I can remember any player being suspended was Bobby Portis. It was 2 or 3 years ago. He was suspended for 25 games, the same amount as Paul George, for violating the program. That's the last notable case I can remember. Maybe it happened to a G League player, a bench warmer, but yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Paul George signed a max contract and is now getting suspended 25 games. He's on his John Morant arc. But what do you think about the Sixers have been seeing increased success recently? Embiid's been playing at an MVP caliber level again. Maxi's looked like first team All NBA, and Paul George, he has looked better than he did last year. He's obviously not in his prime, but he's looked like a serviceable 3-and-D player. So without Paul George, you said you think the Sixers are going to be better. What kind of run do you think they can make, or do you think they're going to drop back in the standings a little bit?
I think they're going to be fine. The way Embiid and Maxey are playing, I don't think it's going to matter, personally. I think you could slot anybody in that role the way those two guys are playing right now in order to win games in the regular season. Like, they're still going to beat teams that they should beat on a nightly basis, even without Paul George. I'm not really concerned about that. And 25 games means George will be back for the playoffs. So I still see them as a conference final contender. And again, like, if Embiid and Maxey are healthy in the playoffs, that duo can absolutely win the East. Can absolutely win the East. I know I just went on a huge thing about the Pistons, and I don't think anyone can beat them in a 7-game series, which is true. But if Embiid and Maxey are healthy and they face the Pistons in a 7-game series and they won, I wouldn't, that wouldn't shock me in the least if they had a great series. So, no, I still view them as a conference finals team, I think. I think if they're on the right side of the bracket and they have good matchups and they're healthy, because so much of professional sports, football, basketball, hockey, baseball, it's all about being healthy at the end of the year. Like that's so important for every team in the playoffs, and I think for a team like Philadelphia, that's extremely important because you're banking on the health of arguably your best player to even contend for a championship or a conference championship. So, yeah, this doesn't really change my opinion of them. I think in the regular season, it will actually give guys more playing time. I think this helps a guy like Jared McCain, who's been, I mean, I think he just went to the G League a couple weeks ago. They have not been playing Jared McCain. I think he's probably getting called back up now to play off the bench and kind of take some of those minutes. I know him and Paul George do not play the same position, but Jared McCain seems like a guy that would get an increased opportunity with something like this, and maybe the Sixers go to a smaller lineup off the bench. So I expect this will benefit him, a lot of other younger guys that haven't been playing as much because of a guy like Paul George. So I think it'll give guys more confidence for the playoffs in case, everyone's got to stay ready, especially when you play for a team with a lot of injuries and a lot of injury history. So this does not change my opinion of them. I still see them as a top 4 or 5 team in the East. And I don't think this will hurt them too much. What do you think about this?
Yeah, but I mean, more of the same. I mean, Paul George, he's a competent 3-and-D player, but he's not the superstar that he was earlier in his career. At this point, I mean, I don't want to say he's replaceable, but it feels like what Paul George provides to the Sixers, it can be bench players can come in and play that role. Quentin Grimes, McCain, like you said, can come in off the bench and provide maybe a little bit of a lower level, but I mean, if you can get a better rotation going, these young guys' minutes, they can constantly play with higher energy, maybe more than Paul George could the entire course of a game. So, like you said, I don't think this necessarily makes them better or worse. I don't know. I wouldn't call this bad news or good news. Well, it's not good news, definitely, but I don't think it's the worst news in the world for the Sixers. I think this is something they will be able to tread water in at very worst.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Western Conference, where we saw Nikola Jokic make his NBA return after missing nearly a month due to a calf strain. He dropped 31 points in the Nuggets win yesterday, looking like his normal MVP self. I mean, nothing crazy there. A Jokic 31-point game. It's another casual Friday. But now that Jokic is back, he has only missed 17 games, which means if Jokic were to play every single game of the rest of the year, he could still win MVP. It's not an impossibility still with Nikola Jokic. And I think he is the most deserving player. He is the best. So I would like to see him win MVP rather than give the award to someone like Jaylen Brown or Cade Cunningham, who I think are having great years, but are not among the best players in the league. I think that'll be a bit of a fluky award if that happens. So good for the NBA to see Jokic back. Any takes for the Nuggets on Jokic's return?
Yeah, he's amazing. He's the best player in the league still. I remember we talked about we remember talking about him, and I said that when he comes back, he's going to remind everyone how good he is, and that's exactly what he did. I don't even think he played. I think he's on a minutes restriction. Like, he's not playing full minutes yet.
He played. I don't think he played above 30. I think he played 25. I'll check the exact amount.
So I mean, that guy's used to playing 35, 40 minutes a night. So anything less than 30 is definitely a minutes restriction in my book. Yeah, he's the best player in the world. Simply, I still stand by my take that I think Cade should win the MVP at this point. However, I think Jokic is the best player in the world, and he proved that last night.
If Jokic were to remain eligible for awards, play every single game the rest of the season, you would still take Cade Cunningham for MVP over Jokic.
Well, it depends how they play the rest of the year, obviously.
Okay, fair. Okay, let's assume right now they're both eligible for awards, and Jokic has played the whole year. You would still take Cade Cunningham.
Right now, yes. Jokic would have to play significantly better than Cade the rest of the year.
I would hear the argument just because Jokic has missed a month, Cade hasn't missed a time yet. But let's assume that both players have played all the games they can play up to this point of the season. Would you still give Cade the award over Jokic?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Okay, so no. I do think if Jokic is eligible, it's unlikely. He has to play literally cannot miss a single game. It's unlikely. But I do think if Jokic were to do that, I think the MVP is rightfully his. Hell, I think he should be given the MVP for playing every single game. That's an accomplishment in and of itself.
I do.
I mean, that's, put that on his resume.
I do think you are criminally underrating Cade Cunningham on this show, though. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Okay,
like
I don't like
he.
I
if he were to
first team All NBA, lock it in.
Yes.
I don't. I don't think I'm underrating him.
So I don't. Okay. Then if he were to win the MVP, I would not consider first team All NBA winning an MVP fluky. I would not consider that fluky. I don't think that is fair for the season he's having to consider it fluky. Yes, the guys have had injuries, but he's out there. He's still balling. Like, even if those guys are fully healthy, he would still be in the conversation for MVP. So I wouldn't consider it fluky.
Yes. Okay, fluky was the wrong word. That made it the wrong word to use. I just think if guys like Giannis, Shea, Jokic, Luka, and Tatum were all healthy and eligible for awards, that's the first team right there. That Tatum, I mean, that's very up for debate. He's not even playing this year. Maybe he goes out and has the worst year of his career. Who knows? But assuming Tatum does normal Jason Tatum things, I think those five, assuming good health, would be the first All-NBA team. Even with the year Cade Cunningham and the Pistons are having, I still would take those five players healthy and at the top of their game over Cade.
I think you're about to
like fluky. Like he is gonna make first team All-NBA. So like you said, like maybe fluky was the wrong word to use. I just think in a normal, healthy NBA year, we wouldn't be talking about Cade as an MVP candidate.
Yeah, I'm starting. God, this might be a hateful take. I'm starting to not be as high on Luka Doncic as I think the NBA world is. I think he's a great offensive talent, but in terms of a player, like, his body language sucks. Like, on the court, he is a liability on half the court. Like, I'm just gonna say it as it is. And I think a guy like Cade Cunningham, he's one deep playoff run away from being better than Luka. Is that fair to say? Like, the only thing Luka's done that Cade hasn't is reach the finals. That's the only thing that's different between the two.
Six straight first-team All-NBAs, I think, is definitely worth mentioning.
Yeah, but, I mean, he doesn't play defense. The guy doesn't play defense. And I don't want to say he goes away against better competition, but, like, and maybe this is a Lakers problem as a whole, because I have talked about how bad the Lakers roster is as a whole, but Luka, his statistics look amazing because offensively he is a juggernaut, and I am not disputing that. Offensively, he's better than Cade Cunningham, but I think when we talk about top 5 players in the league, I can't put Luka in the same discussion as, like, Shea. Like, Shea is a significantly better basketball player than Luka. I think that's just a fact I think Jokic, like, is a significantly better basketball player than Luka. Same goes for Giannis.
Okay.
Like, Giannis is clearly the better basketball player compared to Luka Doncic. That is a fact. Like,
okay. I have pulled up the NBA defensive ratings because I need to say Luka Doncic is a criminally underrated defender. Now,
what?
Will Luka
No
make?
way.
Okay.
No way.
Okay. No, hear me out. Luka's not making any All-NBA like defense teams anytime soon, right? He is not a good defender. But Luka Doncic is not the worst defender in the league.
He's not.
He is not bottom 5, bottom 10 like he's portrayed. Like, the media has portrayed Luka Doncic to be literally the worst defender in the league. And I will say there is an effort issue at times on that side of the floor.
Thank you.
Because for a player with Luka's physical talents, like, he's 6'8" and he's in shape. He should not be getting blown by as much as he is. He should not be falling asleep off ball as much as he is. There is an effort issue on the defensive side of the ball. I will give you that. However, Luka Doncic right now has the single highest usage percentage among NBA players. Yes, the Lakers have LeBron and Austin Reeves, but it is safe to say that Luka is carrying the offense. He is doing everything offensively for the Lakers. Okay, that cannot go understated. If Luka truly was the worst defensive player in the league, you would have an argument there. But he is not. I'm willing to say Luka is middle of the pack, maybe a little bit below the pack. When Luka Doncic is a little bit below average. No, when Luka Doncic is locked in on defense, he is good. He is a good defender. In the Lakers' most recent win, I forgot who we're playing, but JJ Redick made a comment post-game about how their fourth quarter game plan was to attack Luka Doncic on defense. And you know what Luka did? He got 7 straight stops to end the game, including the game-winning. He drew a game-winning charge. That is like when Luka Doncic is locked in on defense and he's willing to put in the effort. He is at he. I think it's safe to say he is average. The issue with Luka, like he said, is his attitude. It is the incessant complaining to the referees. It is the constant lack of attention on defense that he pays. And those are issues that I think they're going to cost him an MVP. They're going to cost him playoff success, but it shouldn't cost him a spot in the top 5 conversation. I think that is a little too disrespectful to Luka and what he can provide offensively.
Here's all I would say to that is you talked about earlier how you need to see it before you can believe it in terms of the Pistons' playoff success. If Luka Doncic couldn't get motivated to play defense in the NBA Finals against Boston, why the hell should I believe he's going to be an average defender in the first round against Minnesota? Why the hell should I believe that? There's no reason I should believe Luka. And yes, I agree that it will hurt him in terms of an MVP. It will hurt him in terms of playoff success. And because it hurts him in both those things, why can't it hurt him in his top 5 case? Why can't all 3 of those things be considered in one?
They can. It's just really difficult to overlook a 34-point triple-double that he's averaging. Like, no, that is unbelievable statistical prowess. Like, yes, what you're saying is true. They're very good arguments, but 34, 10, and 10. I mean, like,
there's not much I can say against that. Offensively, he's probably the best player in the league other than Jokic offensively. But when you talk about top 5 players, like, do you think Wembanyama might be a better player already than Luka? Like, I'm talking about basketball player, not shooter, not scorer.
That is genuinely a tough debate.
Like, Wembanyama is slowly creeping up on Luka. Giannis, Shea, and Jokic are all better than Luka. Cade Cunningham, in my opinion, is creeping up to Luka because of what he does on defense. He's a good to great defender. Anthony Edwards is a good to great defender. Like, all these players are, in my opinion, just as good as Luka, if not better, because of what they bring to you as an overall player. Like, I don't want to say Luka's not a one-dimensional player, but it feels like he's a one-dimensional player. Does that make sense? Like, if he's not absolutely cooking, what does he provide you? If he's not absolutely cooking that night, what does he provide you? Nothing.
But he's still a threat on offense, even when he's not cooking it. And we're talking about Luka like he's Trae Young on defense. We're talking about Luka like he's Jalen Brunson on defense, and he's not. Luka is okay. Like I said, he's not a great defender, but he is not a net negative on defense. He is not.
Alex,
he is not the worst defender on the Lakers.
Right. Okay, that's probably true. But when he drives to the paint and misses a layup,
he's a top 5 defender on the Lakers.
When he drives to the paint, misses a layup, and complains to the refs instead of getting back, that's bad defense. That's bad defense. That's bad. I'm considering that bad defense. That's bad defense.
That is bad defense, and you know what? That's being a bad teammate. That must be so incredibly frustrating to the rest of the Lakers, who all hustled back on defense, and yet their best player on the team is sitting back complaining to the refs. Agree with you there. The attitude needs to get better. But you know how I've been saying I need to see it to believe it? The complaining dipped dramatically in the playoffs. The amount of times that Luka would stay back on offense complaining to the refs would dip dramatically in the playoffs. He was still a turnstile, yes, but he was also guarding in the finals Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, which, to be fair, those two are going to make a lot of players look like turnstiles. I'm not going to say Luka is a bad defender because you couldn't guard Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Like, there's a lot of players in the NBA. Most players in the NBA would get cooked by those two guys.
Come on. All right. If Luka is as good as we think he is, there's no reason he can't guard Jaylen Brown. Like, seriously. Like, I'm not saying lock him up. You don't have to hold him to 0 points. But, like, Andrew Wiggins locked up Jason Tatum in the finals. Andrew Wiggins is not better than Jason Tatum. He is not better than Jason Tatum, and he locked him up in the finals. No, but
he's a better defender than Luka will ever be. Luka is not a positive defender. Luka's not going to win you games on the defensive side of the ball. All he has to do is show the teeniest bit of effort, the teeniest bit of attention, actually give a shit on the defensive side of the ball, and he doesn't, and it is so frustrating to watch.
Yes.
But when he does,
okay, but
he is not awful.
Yes, you're saying when he does. That's like talking about when Embiid's healthy. We still have to see it. So because I haven't seen it, I can still call Luka a bad defender because he doesn't show effort.
Yeah, that's fair.
Point blank period. Like, yes, you're right. When he tries, he's all right at defense. He's all right. He's not good, he's not great, he's all right. But he doesn't try. He's awful at defense. He's awful. Like, there's no way around that. And when he occasionally tries, he gets 7 straight stops. Yes. But it's also on the other team to go at Luka. There's a reason they went after him 7 straight possessions. Like, there's a reason why after the 4th and 5th possession, they said, wow, he's really locking us up. We should go somewhere else. No, we're going to go right back at Luka because he sucks at defense. Like, yes, I agree with you that he's better than the media advertises him to be at defense. But that should not... His effort still counts as defense. And his effort is awful. It is terrible. And we have seen it be awful and terrible in the playoffs. And I think it's time that we start recognizing the players like Cade, Ant, Wemby as better overall basketball players than Luka Doncic. And like I said at the beginning of this might be a hateful take. I said this before I started this conversation, that this might be a hateful take, because I don't like the way Luka plays basketball. He reminds me of James Harden in his MVP years, of all offense, no defense. That is exactly what Luka reminds me of. He foul baits, he shoots step-back threes, he's a great triple-double threat, and he plays no defense. It's the same. It's the same player. The only difference is the Rockets actually surrounded James Harden with a great team to actually help him compete in the Western Conference. The Lakers have not done that yet. And so, yes, while Harden won the MVPs and stuff, was he ever better than LeBron? No. Was he ever better than Steph or KD? No. So, like, and I'm not comparing Wemby and Cade to LeBron and KD back then, but that's just my argument is Luka I think is a little overrated as an overall basketball player. And I think the NBA has promoted offense so much that it clouds your judgment of who the best players in the league really are, if that makes sense.
I hear your argument, and I agree with you with that Luka's effort on defense makes him a bad defender. Okay, and that needs to change. Okay, but Luka is not Trae Young or Jalen Brunson, where that he is
yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Okay, and if he was, I would agree with you that he's not a top 5 player. But he is not the complete net negative on defense. And when you are averaging a 34-point triple-double, I mean, that's like, yes, you listed Ant, you listed Wemby, you listed Cade. All of those are great players, better defensive players than Luka. And they're all having great individual offensive seasons. But 34-point triple-double is up here, man. That's a different level of offensive load that he is carrying, that he is producing for the Lakers. And his defense is not bad enough to where I am willing to say the other players are overall better. His defense, like, it's not Trae Young, Brunson levels of bad. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that Luka is anywhere near a good defender. I'm not trying to say put Luka on the all-defense teams. Like, Luka is, like, he has a reputation, and justifiably so, as a bad defender. But he is not the worst defender. And meanwhile, he is the best or second best offensive player. I can't put the other players over Doncic because of that. That's just where I come from.
Yeah, I hear you there. I just disagree because I think a guy like Ant, or I'll use Wemby because I know how much you love Wemby. Wemby's a top 3 defender in the league, if not 1. But I think he's consensus top 3 defender in the league.
Yeah.
He is, I would argue, top 15 offensively.
Yeah.
Probably top 10, but consensusly top 15.
Yeah.
So that's overall.
Just for
that's
sake.
overall in my head. Overall in my head, how I'm laying it out, that's a top 10 player in the league. On both sides of the ball, that's a top 10 player in the league. On both sides of the ball. That, to me, I don't care how good Luka is on offense. I would take Wembanyama over Luka. Just, like, I don't care how long you want to say. For a game, for a week, for a season, for a career, I don't care. I would take a guy, I would rather coach and play with a guy like Wembanyama, and I would rather root for that guy than Luka.
I agree with you on all of those 3.
Like,
I'd rather play for, I would rather coach for, and I would rather root for Wemby over Doncic.
Wemby, I don't even care if he's 7'8". He could be 5'8". I would still rather coach a guy that's that good on both sides of the ball than a guy that quits on his teammates on half the side of the ball. And I think that needs to be. We need to hold Luka more accountable than we already do for his atrocious defense. He's not. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, hateful take. Like I said, hateful take.
I hear you. I hear you there. But here's my counter argument. Even with Luka's piss poor defense, even with his effort issues, even with his incessant complaint to the referees, he took the Dallas Mavericks to the finals.
I know he did.
Right, just 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He took them to the finals. That's something that none of these other players, Cade, Ant, Wemby, hell, most superstars in the league cannot say that about their team. Paul George has never been to the finals. Embiid has never been to the finals. Right? There are so many stars. Most stars in the league have never been to the finals, whereas Luka has, and Luka was the primary option on his team that got to the finals. I cannot put, like, he's clearly, even though he's a liability on defense, he can clearly play winning basketball. He can clearly be the first option on a team that wins, that gets to the finals. And, anything can happen in the finals. Yes, he lost to Boston. He didn't get the job done. Who's to say he can't get back there? I'm not going to put that beyond Luka. Even if he plays the same way he does, I'm not going to say he can't get back there. Because he's just that good and that dominant offensively. He is the entire offensive system anytime he steps on a court. Luka got to the finals once with piss poor defense, with piss poor effort. Even a slight increase in effort, in attention, in intensity, that only makes him more dangerous of a player, and I think that'll only increase his chances of returning. But Luka right now is good enough to get his team to the finals. I don't know if I can say that about Cade. I don't know if I can say that about Ant. I don't know if I can say that about Wemby. But I can about Luka.
What? You can't say that about Wemby? You don't think Wemby's good enough to take the Spurs to the finals this year? Seriously?
Has he yet? Has he yet?
No, but you don't think he's good enough to?
No, I picked the Spurs to be first-round playoff exits. Preseason. And I think they need playoff experience. Same issue I have with the Pistons. They're going to get beat out by a team with playoff experience. Thunder or the Nuggets.
All right. If the Spurs,
either the Clippers or I think I would take the Clippers or not the Lakers. Never mind. Fuck that. I would take the Clippers in a 7-game series over the Spurs.
I think you predicted preseason the Spurs Lakers first round. I think.
Yeah, and I did. I predicted the Lakers to win it, and
the Spurs would beat them in 5 games. Respectfully, they would beat them in 5 games.
Agreed. The Lakers' depth is not it, and they do not have the front court talent to match up. But the Clippers, I think, would win.
Really?
I think the Clippers match up really well with the Spurs. Okay, but that's besides the point. The point is not that. The point is I do not think Wembanyama this year will get the Spurs to the NBA
That's fine,
Finals.
But neither will Luka.
Neither will Luka. But Luka already has. But Luka has already proven he has. We've been talking about this whole episode, seeing it to believe it. We have seen it with Luka. We saw it play out in front of our eyes. We saw Luka, who did not care at all defensively, still get his team to the finals.
That was a different version of Luka.
Do it. He can do it. Now, will he do it? Probably not. The Lakers are a much worse team than the Mavericks are. But Luka can. He is capable. We saw it. This is not hypothetical. Maybe Wemby probably will be good enough. Cade probably will be good enough. Ant probably will be good enough. Luka is good enough.
You're giving Luka way too much credit. That Mavericks team was way better on defense at the forward and center position than they helped him a lot on defense. I don't think that was all Luka. He also had Kyrie, who helped too on offense. Like Kyrie was a walking bucket that year too. It wasn't all Luka. So I just don't think saying Luka got to the finals. Yes, he did. But let's not act like because Luka tried a little bit harder on defense, that's why the Mavericks made the finals. That's not true.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I hear you defensively. Yes, Mavericks were a lot better. Last thing I'm going to say about this is that Kyrie was a bucket that year, but he disappeared in the playoffs. Offensively, the Mavericks' entire game plan was give Luka the ball, get out of the way. Kyrie disappeared. Like, that's just how it was, and Luka got them there. Yes, defensively, Gafford, Lively, Washington, they were great. And I'm sure, like you said, I didn't think about that. That probably did cover up a lot of weaknesses that the Lakers don't have the manpower to do so.
And The
Offensively,
Celtics were the only team
Luka
that
is good enough.
exposed that.
And like you said,
They exposed that in the playoffs. And so again, I just think Luka is. I just don't think he's top 5. It's hateful. It's hateful. It's hateful.
All right, we'll move on to another. That all started, by the way, with Luka's first half triple-double that he got against the Wizards. Circling back to that.
Boo-hoo, the Wizards. Oh my, the Wizards.
First half triple-double, that speaks volumes. Let's move on to another game that happened a few days ago, where former Duke roommates and NBA rookies Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple had an absolute showdown 2 days ago. Cooper Flagg broke the NBA record for most points by a teenager in a game with a 49-point performance. And you know what? This was ethical buckets. Cooper Flagg got 49 on 20 of 29 shooting. Ethical hoops from the rookie. We love to see it. However, he didn't get the win because Con Knipple also had a career-high performance of 34 points. With 7 seconds left, Knipple actually forced a turnover on Flagg, drove to the basket, drew a foul on his former college roommate, and knocked down the game-winning free throws for the Charlotte Hornets. So, absolute cinema from the two Duke players and the two favorites for Rookie of the Year. Flagg had a historical performance. Obviously, no knock on him. But Con Knipple is having a hell of a year himself. I know you picked Flagg to win the Rookie of the Year preseason, and I'm sure that 49-point performance, that only helps your case. But what are the odds do you think Knipple can make a late-season charge for it, especially with the recent success Charlotte has had?
Zero. The only chance he has is if Flagg's hurt.
Okay.
If Flagg's hurt, that's the only chance he has. Because I have
a question for you.
I do think Rookie of the Year is one of the few awards. Hold on, before you get to that question, is one of the few awards that just completely disregards team success. I think they just completely disregard it for that award. And that's why I don't think he has a chance unless if Flagg continues to play the rest of the year, this kid is insane. Like, he's stupid good. He's not gonna lose the award to Con. Respectfully, he's not gonna lose it to Con.
No. Okay, agree with you there. I feel incredibly stupid for not picking Flagg to win Rookie of the Year in the preseason. I mean, I don't hate my Edgecombe pick, but watching Flagg ball now, it's like, why did I not see this? I had questions about Flagg's true ceiling, and I have no idea why I did. Like, bad take on my end. Not my brightest moment. My question to you is: you just said you're disregarding team success, but what if Con Knipple takes the Charlotte Hornets to the play? Well, he's not going to take him, right? He's going to be option 2 at best. LaMelo or Brandon Miller is going to be option 1, whoever's out that day. But Con, as a second option on the Hornets, takes Charlotte to the playoffs. A team that hasn't been to the playoffs in, 7 years? 8 years?
Yeah, no.
And Cooper Flagg. And the Mavericks, and the Mavericks missed the play-in altogether. You still give the award to Flagg? Or
no,
I think Knipple has an argument there?
No, I still give it to Flagg. I still think he's... Okay. I think anyone who could watch basketball can admittedly watch it and say that Cooper Flagg is better than Con Knipple. Like, there's no way you can watch basketball and think the other way around. That's just my opinion.
Okay, I agree with you. I agree with you. But I have a counter argument to that still. People are saying the same thing about Ben Simmons and Donovan Mitchell. The reason Ben Simmons won the Rookie of the Year award over Donovan Mitchell is because people were saying, watching basketball, Ben Simmons is the better player. And you know what? At the time, I agree with that.
Yes.
And at the time, I agree with that in full. Okay. But then we go to the playoffs, where Donovan Mitchell, in his rookie year, beat prime Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Oklahoma City Thunder. Whereas Ben Simmons was a first-round exit, and he wasn't even the first option on his team. And looking at the rest of their careers, Donovan Mitchell is clearly the better player than Ben Simmons.
Absolutely.
So I don't there is so far I'm only willing to take the eye test. Cooper Flagg, yes, he looks significantly better, but I would production on the court, Knipple is not far behind.
Okay, I kind of disagree with that, but I would hear that Ben Simmons take if both Flagg and Knipple make the playoffs. All right, I'm not going to hold it against Flagg that his team didn't make the playoffs because Kyrie and Anthony Davis couldn't stay healthy, and the rest of his team's terrible. I'm not going to hold that against him. And let's say, so, yes, Ben Simmons and Donovan Mitchell very comparable because they had similar seasons. If Con makes the playoffs and Flagg doesn't, I don't think you can hold that against Flagg. But if they both make the playoffs and Con balls out and Flagg struggles in the playoffs, then I think we can have that conversation. Does that make sense?
fair. Yeah, that's fair. And to your point, Mitchell was the first option. Khan isn't the first option on the Hornets. So Mitchell was like doing things that Knipple isn't doing right now. So to your point, those two
And
seasons are
yes,
on different tiers,
like you're
Mitchell and
and
Knipple.
to talk about your like statistically, Khan is not far off. But I'm gonna get into my again. Basketball is a 94-foot game. Cooper Flagg is a significantly better defender than Con Knipple. Like significantly better defender than Con Knipple. And again, like anyone with two eyes that can view the Mavericks and Hornets games year round, Cooper Flagg is better than Con Knipple. Like it's just true. And I don't think Con, the way Cooper Flagg's playing, I don't think anyone can catch him. Con definitely has the best chance to catch him, but I don't even think Con has really any chance to catch Flagg the way he's playing. Like this kid is
Agreed.
He's playing at an all-star level in his rookie year.
Yeah.
Like nobody else.
As a 19-year-old, by the way.
Like,
as a 19-year-old.
So no,
as
like
a teenager. It's
like I respect Con Knipple. He's a great player. I think he's the second coming of Klay Thompson. Like that's who he reminds me of watching his off-ball movement, his catch and shoot ability, his relocation without the ball. Like that to me reminds me a lot of Klay Thompson. But respectfully, he is not Cooper Flagg. And I don't think that team success should go into the Rookie of the Year award because I feel like it rarely does. I feel like it usually goes to the best rookie overall, and this year it is undoubtedly Cooper Flagg.
I agree with you. And for the record, I do have Flagg winning Rookie of the Year right now. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Like, respect. I respect his game. Like, Khan is a great player, but he's not Cooper Flagg. And I'm not going to pretend that he is.
Just looking back on that 2016-2017 season, it's like looking at the eye. Ben Simmons won solely because of the eye test. But Mitchell, that season, was a better player. He had a better playoff run, and he has so far had a better career. I think it's safe to say. I mean, maybe Ben Simmons comes back and wins MVP. Who knows? But like looking at that, the only reason Ben Simmons won Rookie of the Year was the eye test, and it is different. Like Flagg is passing the eye test at a much higher level than Mitchell and Simmons were. It's just that's what I think in my head because it just feels like we're discrediting Khan by saying Flagg has us in a runaway.
Yeah, and I feel like you're discrediting.
Had a great year himself.
I feel like you're discrediting Flagg by saying it's not a runaway. If that makes sense. Like
okay, that's fair.
Like because it is a runaway. Like
I'll give you that.
Like it is a runaway. Yes, you can disrespect two players at the same time by doing the same thing. Like you're disrespecting Khan and Flagg at the same time. Like it's crazy.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Maybe I'm taking team success into account a little bit more. I'm just thinking the Mavericks had playoff expectations, the Hornets did not, and yet the teams are flip-flopped. Maybe I'm taking that into account a little bit more than you are.
And also, the Hornets still have to make the playoffs, by the way. They're still on the outside looking in. They're not in the playoffs yet. So they still have work to do.
Are they?
No,
well, they're in the play-in, I'm pretty sure.
I thought they were 11th.
I don't know.
I thought they were out of the play-in tournament after that Mavericks game still.
No, they jumped Milwaukee.
Whoops. Okay. All right. So,
they are 11th. You were right. They are 11th. You're right. They jumped. Milwaukee's 12th now. We're 12th in the East, man. What are we doing?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, but Charlotte is 11th. But Charlotte has also won
they're good though. Charlotte's good.
They've enjoyed their first 5-game winning streak in 4 years. Like Charlotte is up.
They are
the Hornets, man.
They're good. They're fun to watch, and I think sneaky trade candidate for like a center. Like go get a a cheap one. Like a cheap one. Like I don't know. Like
Kalkbrenner is top 5 in blocks per game. Kalkbrenner has been a very serviceable center, and he's a rookie, by the way.
Who is go get Brook Lopez? Why can't they go get Brook Lopez off the Clippers?
No.
You don't want that?
Brook Lopez is washed. No,
he's washed.
If I was a Hornets fan,
okay.
Brook Lopez can't even protect the rim anymore. He can't make threes. Like Brook Lopez cannot do anything. I think he's getting DMPs with the Clippers now. He can't do anything anymore.
Okay, my bad.
I
thought he'd be good. Okay.
No, I love Lopez. We would not have won that ring without Brook Lopez. But at this point in his career, he is an awful rim protector, first of all, at this point in his career. And his three-point shooting has gotten dramatically worse. Kalkbrenner, I feel like, is actually, right now, a serviceable starting center.
He's not even starting, though. I think Diabate is starting for them now. No, I think he's off the bench now.
Actually, you're right. Recently, in their win streak, Diabate has been starting. Kalkbrenner to start the year was starting, and he was serviceable. I think he was top 5 in blocks per game.
Well, yeah, he's
Like,
tall.
serviceable.
He's not bad. No, you're right. He's not bad.
Yeah, he should be. But Diabate has also been he's had a couple 20 games. He had 20 points, 20 rebounds in a few games.
Yeah.
Like,
thinking about it now, you know who the Hornets need to go
machine,
get?
Dude.
You know who the Hornets need to go get? My GOAT, Kayvon Looney. Go snag Looney. Go snag Looney.
That's a good fit.
Like
I would like that fit. He can do both of what Kalkbrenner and Diabate do.
And he's a veteran presence for your locker room. Hey, Hornets, go get Looney. Go get Looney. Yes, sir. Go get Looney.
This is the Warriors fan trying to ship up the players that are gaining DNPs, by the way.
He plays for the Pelicans, by the way. We don't even have him. He's on the Pelicans
now?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Exactly. He doesn't play for the Pelicans. So, Hornets, go get Looney. Go get Looney.
Kevon Looney's getting DNPs on the Pelicans?
Yeah, because
this
of...
shitty Pelicans roster is still not playing Looney. Like, Derek Queen's good. Yves Missy's good. Find some minutes for Looney. He's a stud, man. What are we doing? Your team isn't good enough.
Looney is... God, what a legend. What a legend.
His high school mixtape went crazy, I just gotta say. His his handles, man. Different. Yeah. All right. But any other games, players, teams you want to talk about?
Last thing I wanted to mention was in a couple of hours, Debanza and Peterson are playing against each other. I wanted to talk about that. I've got a score prediction. I'm predicting 77-71 BYU. Predicting Debanza with a 30-piece. Peterson 23 points. I think Debanza is going to outperform Peterson on the road. Very difficult to do in college basketball. It's hard to play on the road in college basketball, like really hard. But I think I think he's the best player in college basketball, and I think he's gonna prove it today. So hard-fought win for BYU, 30 bomb for Debanza. Those are my predictions. Excited to watch the game though. I will be tuning in. I have not watched Darren Peterson. I have not watched Darren Peterson yet. I have watched Debanza. I have not watched Darren Peterson. So I'm very excited. I am very excited.
Okay. I'm very excited to see what you say about Peterson next time because I've gotten so much higher on Peterson's game since I've been watching him. This dude is an absolute bucket. It is insane how easy he makes the college game look. And Debanza, I don't think he's the best player in college basketball. I think Boozer is going to win the Wooden Award just because he has a bigger role with Duke. He puts up better stats. I think Boozer is going to take home the award. But
also
I think
a Duke bias
go
there, probably. A little bit.
Maybe a little bit. But I think Debanza is going to go first overall. Peterson is going to go second. And this would mark the first college basketball game where the number 1 and 2 picks face off, if they go 1 and 2, since Markelle Fultz and Lonzo Ball did it back in 2017 or 2018, whatever that draft was.
Lol.
Markelle Fultz. What a name that was. But safe to say, this is one of the most hyped up college basketball regular season matchups we have had in years. I'm willing to say, I'm kind of a college basketball casual. I don't watch it as much as I watch the NBA. This matchup is personally the most excited I have ever been for a college basketball regular season matchup in my life. So I am very, very excited for this game. I'm excited to see these two generational prospects, the projected first and second picks, at least in our mock drafts, square off for the first time. Score prediction, I'm going to give it to BYU. I think Debanza is going to have a great game. Like you said, he's going to get close to 30, if not 30. But I think Robert White and Richie Saunders are both great players as well, who can provide the offensive load for BYU that Kansas does not have. When Peterson is hurt, Kansas has zero offense. It is give the ball to Peterson and get the ball and get out of the way. BYU has more scoring opportunities, more scoring depth with their big three, and I think that is, and their home field advantage too. Their home court advantage is phenomenal. BYU's atmosphere is phenomenal. I'm going to give it to the Mormons. I think they're going to take it over Kansas.
All right, good pick. I just got a notification on my phone. More breaking news on the podcast.
Two breaking news in one episode.
This is a rumor, but it's great news for Warriors fans out there. If the Warriors trade for Giannis, the trade will not include Jimmy Butler and would potentially include Draymond Green. Let's clap that up, guys. Let's clap that up, guys.
I was so happy when he said not. Why? Okay.
Let's clap that up. Let's clap that up.
Question. Yeah, the Warriors want to trade away Draymond Green. Do the Bucks want Draymond Green?
Well, okay.
Definitely
Here. Here's my argument. You can still flip him at the deadline. You can still trade him to another team that potentially might want him.
Nobody wants Draymond Green at the deadline. We can flip him to any other team if he had value.
Hey, listen to this. Listen to this trade package. Listen to this trade package. Ready? Draymond Green, Brandon Pajemski, Jonathan Kuminga, who gets DMPs and doesn't play, and all our first round picks.
We have Doc Rivers. We're right.
And all the first round picks. That's fine. The Warriors, they wouldn't lose anything. The Warriors wouldn't lose anything, and they gain Giannis. It's beautiful. It's sensational.
You know what? The Bucks would have a top 3 pick. We would get either DeBonsa, Boozer, or Peterson. The tank would be on. Play Draymond Green 48 minutes of light. Let him be the first option. Let's get Draymond Green that first 40 piece of his career because he was missing from that list.
Fun question here. How many technicals would Draymond Green get in half a season with the Bucks? Just being so frustrated with how bad his team is.
Yeah, I was about to say, it depends if the Bucks are good or bad. If they're bad, I'm going to say 82 in all 82 games. And the games that he misses, he'll make up for it by getting 2 in one game.
Yeah, facts. He'd get ejected from every other game. Every other game, he'd get ejected.
He'd have to be. Remember that one time with the Warriors, he pulled himself. He was like literally yelling, disrespecting Steve Kerr, screaming in his coach's face, and then he pulled himself out, went to the locker room, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so good for doing that."
Hey, it's time. It's time for him. Bro.
You are screaming in your head coach's face, and then praising yourself that you had the ability to walk away. Are we for real right now? Yeah, Draymond will crash out on Milwaukee.
Especially having to still play with Brandon Pajemski.
Yeah, that would be a Jordan Poole 2.0 situation. Pods would not make it a year.
But again, that's just a rumor. But it said that the Warriors were rumored to include Jimmy Butler in any potential trades this year, even after the torn ACL. So that would be kind of shitty to do, by the way, trade a guy that's hurt. I feel like that would be doing Jimmy a disservice. Like, wait till he's healthy at least to trade him. Like, I don't know.
That's what the Hawks did with Trae Young.
I guess, but Trae didn't have a season-ending injury. Like, he's still going to play for the... Ooh.
I mean, he's supposed to be, but...
More breaking news. The Warriors and Lakers are reaching out to the Cavs about DeAndre Hunter. Holy shit.
I have seen reports on that. Specifically, I've seen that a lot more with the Lakers than I have with the Warriors. I think DeAndre Hunter to Lakers.
The Warriors are also trying to get
the premier 3.
Andrew Wiggins back too. I saw.
Yeah, those are 2 premier 3-and-D players in the league. I mean, those would help any contending team.
Yeah.
I don't think they should give up anything more than 1 first-round pick for him, but
I feel like we're gonna have a lot to cover around the trade deadline because, like, 3 breaking news across my phone, like, worth mentioning in this podcast. Because so
it's been, last thing I'm going to say before we get into crunch time. It's been surprising on how slow the trade season's kind of been. I thought it was going to be like one of the more exciting ones, especially after the Trae Young trade with guys like Ja and Giannis in the blockbuster in the rumor mill. But there hasn't been a single NBA trade since Trae Young got moved. And that surprised me. So I think that does attest to your point. I think that we are in for a chaotic last 48 hours before the trade deadline that's coming up. The fact that we haven't had anything the last couple of days must mean that teams are waiting to see if what the best offers they can get for their stars or their players on the trade market. And yeah, they're probably going to wait for the last 24, 48 hours to pull any triggers on that. Should be interesting to our trade deadline episode recap.
Last thing, if you're Cleveland, why are you trying to trade DeAndre Hunter, though? Does that make any sense? That doesn't really make sense to me.
Hunter's coming off the bench this year. He's kind of regressed. He's taken a step back. I guess maybe they just traded for him last year. If I were Cleveland, I would still give him another year. I mean, he's been with the team for less than a calendar year still at this point. But DeAndre Hunter has not been a net positive for Cleveland this year, or at least in comparison to what he offered them last year. So I think they see him as more of an extendable player, especially when you have a guy like Max Strus or Isaac Okoro who do the same things as Hunter does.
All right. Yeah. All right. I hear you there. All right. To crunch time we go. We got a new segment here, as we usually do. We like to stay creative on the crunch time here. And Alex has been testing my ball knowledge, especially last episode. I really struggled last episode with the ball knowledge. So I'm trying to get Alex here.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it does. It does. But I'm trying to get my get back here. So I have a new game. The wheel is back. So a little bit of luck here. The wheel is back. and I'm going to spin the wheel, and Alex has his 5 spots again, point guard through center. The difference is Alex will be picking players based on their points per game average in any particular season of his choice. So, for example, if I rolled the Warriors, you could pick any Warriors player ever, and that season is their points per game. Okay? So you could pick 2017 Kevin Durant or whatever, right? And that would be your points per game. Here's the kicker.
Trying to get the most points per game?
No. You have to get closest to 100 points per game.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
So all 5 of your players have to add up to 100 points per game, which, quick math, is 20 points per player. So picking a guy like Luka who averages 34 might not be the best idea. But you could, if you got the Lakers, you could pick Magic, you could pick Kobe, you could pick Shaq, you could pick LeBron, you could pick Austin Reeves, you could pick whoever you want from any particular year. So what I need you to do is, once I tell you the team, you need to pick the player and the year, and then I will tell you after each one. And again, positions are fluid to an extent.
Okay.
All right.
I like that, actually. Get to closest to 100. We can rock. All right.
Yeah.
What do you think the goal is? What would a good total be? If I'm within 5 points, is that a good performance?
I'm gonna give you a little more leeway and say within 10. If you're within 10, I'll be.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're within 10 points,
is the goal.
Yeah, I think that's a good goal. If you're within 5, I would consider that a win. Like that. That's just insane. All right. So are you ready? Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions?
No questions. Let's run it. I like it. This is a cool idea. Let's see how this goes.
And I'm going to remove the teams from the wheel too, so you'll get no duplicates. First up is the Portland Trail Blazers. Oh, boy.
All right, Portland. All right, my initial strategy, I want to make sure I can get over 100. I don't want to be coming to teams 4 and 5 and thinking and like needing high level players, or I'm going to be coming up short. I want to get the high level scorers out early. So, excuse me. I'm going to go Dame. I'm just trying to think. Dame averaged 30 one year. I'm trying to remember when that was. Let's go 2019 Dame.
Okay, are you locking that in?
Yeah, locking it in. 2019 Damian Lillard.
So I'm
hoping it's his career best year.
So do you want that 2019 to 2020 or 2018 to 2019? Like what?
2018-19.
Okay.
18-19.
So 18-19 Damian Lillard only averaged 25.8 points.
Not as much as I thought, but that's not terrible. What's his career best year?
2022-2023. His last year with Portland, 32.2.
That was when he got 30.
Okay.
25 was a bit of a miss there. All right, we can work
with
that though.
What position would you like Dame? Point guard or shooting guard?
Yeah, we'll put him at point guard. We'll slot him at the 1.
All right, so right now you have 25.8 points per game. And again, your goal is to get closest to 100. All right, back to the wheel. Interesting start. 25's not bad, though. Like, that's not terrible.
It's not bad. I was just hoping to get a 30 piece out of the way so I could go for more role players, more 15.
All right,
15
this will really test your ball knowledge because next up is the Washington Wizards.
This is any NBA player in history, right?
Yeah, any player in history.
Not current.
Yeah.
You know what? Give me 2006 Gilbert Arenas.
Okay.
At the shooting guard.
Gilbert. Yes, this is any player in NBA history, so long as they played for the team that I rolled.
Give me agent 51.
All right, so you want 05 to 06 or 06 to 07?
05, 06 Arenas.
All right, 05, 06 Arenas averaged 29.3 points per game.
Yeah, that's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. Come on now.
All right.
All right. So we got 20.
He's at the 2. He's at the 2 for you. That's because you already filled the 1.
I'm at 55.1. I'm at shooting guard. That's at 55.1 if my math is right.
Yes, that is correct. All right. Back to the wheel. Alex, how do you feel 2/5 of the way there?
That Arenas pool, I'm happy with that. That's what I needed. I wanted to be over 50 with 3 to go.
All right,
and I am. So
next up is the Sacramento Kings.
Okay, so now is a point where I can start going for smaller scoring seasons because I already have 2 25-plus point per game seasons. And especially since I'm now at the front court positions, which are positions that traditionally score less than guards, I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out. So, if I wanted to go for a high scoring, I could go Boogie Cousins. But I think it's going to be easier to get forwards that have higher scoring numbers than it is to get centers. I think getting a 15 points per game center, give or take, is my best option. Because of that, give me Domantas Sabonis. We'll go. When did the Kings make the? What was it 2020, 2021? I'm gonna go 2021.
All right, so the 21-22 season.
Oh no, 2021. 2020, 2021.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to. All right, I'll give you this. In 2020 to 2021, Sabonis
was he with the
was
Pacers?
with the Pacers.
Was he with the Pacers that
year?
However, give me the next year then. Give me the next year.
No, however, you rolled the
think...
Kings and he plays for the Kings now. So I'm willing to give you that. I think that's okay.
Okay.
Even though he did play, like you did roll the team he's currently on. So I'm going to give you this.
You know what? I'm gonna self override this one. He wasn't with the Kings that season. Give me the next year.
Okay, so the next
his scoring has kind of remained the same. I don't think it's
okay. So the next year, 2021-2022, he was traded mid-season. So would you like his average in those 15 games that year with the Kings, or the following year?
Full season.
Okay.
Full season average.
So his first full season with the Kings was 2022-2023. You would like that year?
Yeah. Okay. We'll go with that.
All right. 19.1.
I'm happy. Okay, I was hoping for 15. At 19, I can still work a bit more than I would have loved, but I can work with 19. So that puts me at.
Would you like him at the 4 or the 5?
Put him at the 5. Throw him at center. So that puts me at 74.2. All right, I like that. 25 points split between two players. We need 12 points per game scorers.
I don't think that math is correct. Let me just check.
55.1, 19.1, 74.2.
That's correct. I'm bad at math. Hey, good looks, Max.
Hey, that's that Clemson education over there.
You're damn right it is. All right. 7. All right, I'm glad you're keeping track because I sure as hell ain't. All right. Next, he's got 2 spins left. He's got both forward positions, and all right, Utah. Utah Jazz here.
Okay. Utah, 74. We're at. So divide that by. I am 26 away. I need 2 13 points per game scores with the Jazz. Here's a poll. I'm going to go Gordon Hayward in his second year. 2011-2012 Gordon Hayward. Young Gordon Hayward.
That is a poll. That is a poll.
I'm thinking I don't think he was I think he was around 15, a little less than that points per game. I'm thinking Derek Favors as well, but I could not tell you Derek Favors points per game average. I know he was a better rebounder.
What year would you like? Could you specify that again?
His second season in the NBA, I believe that's 11-12.
Okay, his second year in the NBA is 2014-2015.
Gordon Hayward's?
Yes, I think so. According to his
Gordon
career
Hayward
stats.
was drafted in 2010. Are we sure? Gordon Hayward was drafted in 2010.
Hold on, let me double check. Unless career stats only go back 10 years.
Oh,
no, there you go. Nope. I got you.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Sorry, ESPN only went back a decade, and we had to expand that.
You got to go Basketball Reference. That's the site to go.
All right, so 2011.
Actually, no, I applied for an internship there, and they rejected me. Fuck Basketball Reference.
All right, 2011, 2012, Gordon Hayward averaged.
Hoping for 13.
11.8. That's pretty good.
I like that. That's 1 point less than what I wanted. I'm very happy with that.
I'm going to slot him in at the 3. Because I don't think you could get away with Hayward at the 4.
Yeah. So that's at the. I put him at the 3. That is 84 points exactly that I. No, sorry. 85 points exactly that I have. Sorry, 86 points exactly that I have. I forgot decimals. Okay, 86 points exactly on the nose. I need 14 exactly on the nose.
I feel like
exactly 100.
I feel like you're a really good spot to get within 5. If you get a player with 14 points, this would be insane. But you need a power forward. So this is where it gets dicey. Yeah. You need a power forward. And
I like power forward at 14 points. I can work with this. This is not.
It's all up to the wheel. The New Orleans Pelicans.
I've gotten a good setup here. I can work with this. Okay.
I feel
I
like
need to figure out who you would allow me at power forward over the Pelicans' history.
It depends how many points he averaged.
Would you give me Trey Murphy?
No.
Would you give me Herbert Jones?
Would you give me Herbert Jones?
I don't think I would, honestly.
Yeah, okay, then no. Then no.
Sure, I don't think I would. Would you give me Emeka Okafor?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Sure.
I mean, he primarily played.
Yes.
He primarily played
All right.
center.
No. When you look up Okafor, it says power forward. So yes, I'll give you power. I'll give you Okafor.
Right, we're on to something. Okay. I don't know if he scored 14. I'm listed a couple other players. Would you give me Alexis Ajinça?
I don't even know who that is.
Okay, Alexis Ajinca.
Former French basketball player. Yeah.
I know he played for New Orleans. I don't know if
he did. He did play for New
primarily
Orleans.
a center. Was he a power forward?
Center and power forward. Yeah, that slides.
Okay.
That checks.
Okay. So I got two options. I'm trying to think of who else backed up 80 and Boogie, but I am blank. Valanciunas was a Pelican at some point. Jonas, he's that 14. Would you give me Jonas as a power forward though?
No. No.
Okay. Fine.
No.
Fair. That's
no.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, he primarily said that's what I got to figure this. I got to figure out who he would allow me as center. Okafor and Ajinça. I don't know if either of them have gotten 14 a game.
I would give you them both,
especially considering they both played in an era of the NBA where scoring was significantly less per se. But I mean, the Pelicans, they went from AD to Zion at power forward. I mean, what other they don't have. That's when they're starting power forward for. Would you give me Sadiq Bey? He plays small forward. I don't know if he's ever been power forward.
Honestly, probably not, because then I'd probably have to give you Herb Jones and Trey Murphy too. Like I can't give you one of them and not all of them.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm gonna go Okafor. He was a better scorer than Ajinça. But what year? Can you give me Okafor's career timeline? The year he came into the NBA and the year he retired?
All right. He came into the league in 2004 and retired in 2018.
Okay, 14-year career. I would guess his prime was then about... Okay, sorry. Give me his Pelicans tenure. The years he played for the Pelicans.
Okay, well, he only played for the Pelicans
that actually matter.
1 year, but he played for the New Orleans...
Oh, fuck my life. Okay.
He played for the New Orleans Hornets.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
So
That's okay. I'm counting that.
All right.
I'm
so,
counting that.
all right. So you have the choices between 2009, 2010, 2011, and 2017.
Okay, give me 11. 11 is what I wanted to go. I just wanted to make sure he played for the New Orleans then. 11, I feel like, is about his peak. Give me 2011, Emeka Okafor. We need 14.
You're really close. A damn good performance. 9.9 is the average.
Oh no.
Has
he ever averaged double digits? Has he ever averaged double digits?
His career high is 15 in his rookie season. That's actually a fun fact. He never got better after his rookie year.
What? Why did he peak as a rookie? How did he manage to have a 14-year NBA career when he peaked as a rookie? Michael Carter Williams was out of the year in 6 years after winning Rookie of the Year. I mean, what is this? Rigged. It's rigged, man. Was he a rookie with the Pelicans? Where did he get drafted to?
Bobcats.
Okay, so that one I've counted. All right. Who could I have gone other than Okafor? Who would have been a better
if you went with Ajinça, that would have been worse. His career high with the Pelicans was like 4.6.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't a scorer. He never was a scorer. I was having a hard time. Hey,
that's your number though. 95.9 final number. That's really good. I'm impressed.
You know, we got within 5. I'm happy with that.
You did say you wanted to get over 100 though, so that's also kind of a fail in your book. Yeah, but good for you.
Okay, but that's why I went with Dave and Gill early on. I wanted to go with my high scorers early on, so I wouldn't be worried about. Okay, I need 30 points in the last one, and the Pelicans have never had a 30-point power forward. That would have mathematically screwed me, and I was just trying to avoid that. I'm fine being under. I just don't want to be to where I mathematically could not win. That was my goal. And
Yeah, I thought you did really
it
good.
was
That,
accomplished.
that was good ball knowledge. You had some crazy pulls there, like Gordon Hayward. That was a crazy pull. That was.
I'm having my Gordon Hayward pull. It was pretty spot on in terms of points per game too.
Yeah.
In terms of what I was hoping for, I'm proud of that one. But Emeka Okafor really peaked as a rookie, man. Are you kidding me? That's such bull. All right, hold on. We're on the 40 best New Orleans Pelicans power. David West. That's an option. Julius Randle was a New Orleans Pelicans. He got traded from the Lakers for AD. Larry Nance Jr., Ryan Anderson.
Oh, Ryan
Nurkic,
Anderson,
Nikola
that's your
Nurkic.
guy. Ryan Anderson would have been your guy.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah,
sharpshooter
Ryan-
back in his day. That would have been your. That would have been your guy
I remember
for
Ryan
sure.
Anderson as a Houston Rocket, not as a New Orleans Pelican.
Yeah, he was on those. He was on those James Harden teams. Ryan Anderson. I remember him.
That's how I know Anderson.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? In terms of performances go, I could have done much worse. I'm pretty happy with that.
Oh,
So
I
that'll
thought you
wrap
did
up
great.
this episode of the. Thank you. I'll take what I can get.
Yeah.
That'll wrap up this episode of the Hoopers Lounge podcast. A lot of exciting news that's happened. A lot of exciting news to keep watch of. We'll be back with all trade news. We'll be back with Peterson to bounce the results. We'll be back with anything and everything exciting that goes around in the NBA. Until then, peace out.
Yeah. Hopefully next time I'll be wearing my Giannis Warriors jersey. Next episode. Hopefully.
Don't cause you that pain, man.
Hopefully.
Oh, that'd be a shot to the skull. That hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, peace out.
Peace out.